Hello, this is Brenda Green, and welcome to the second presentation from Living in the Go. The Purpose of Your Money is the latest title that I want to bring to you, and it comes from a lot of comments and feedback that I've gotten over the years in terms of what money really means to people and how best to use it, how to acquire it. So hopefully you'll get some things out of this presentation that you can use in your life, that you can tailor to what you want to do with money. So let's get started. What does a good life mean? These are some of the topics that I want to cover in this presentation. So what does a good life mean to you? Do you know what money is for? What does your money knowledge look like? Think about all the things that you know about money. How to grow your money and how to keep it, because that's important. I mean, we're growing money, but is it running through our fingers? How do we keep it? How do we maintain it? So the first thing is, what does a good money life look like? What does it mean to you? Does it mean being rich? Does it mean that you want $1 million? Do you think that's what you need? Is that your measure? Do you want fame and fortune? Do you think riches will change your life? Does it mean having great health? I know years ago I had a health scare and it was all consuming. All I thought about was, please let me get healthy. And once I was better, I realized at that point that the most important thing was my health. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So that's what a good life means to me. Does it mean having a big house? And you need to think about the pros and cons of having a big house and what that entails. Are you a lavish lifestyle kind of person? Do you want fabulous trips, expensive jewelry, gourmet restaurants, the latest handbag? Think about that. So now I want you to identify for yourself what a good life means for you, just you. You don't need to know the money particulars at this point, but write it all down. What does that good life look like for you? Because the more you can define it, the easier it will be to obtain it. Now, your money history defines you, not. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times people think about where they came from, their backgrounds. It might not have been the best, and they think they'll never get ahead. And what I'm here to tell you is that your money history does not define you. You can certainly use that information from your history to move things along. My first point here is, when you know better, do better. Maya Angelou, a famous poet and writer, she once said that, and she just means to learn from your mistakes, because we all make them. So don't make that same mistake. Do something different the next time because you know better. You also need to learn from others' mistakes. We're observant creatures by habit, and so we look at other people and we see the mistakes they make. Well, learn from that as well. That's all information. That's all knowledge. Don't make those same mistakes that you see others doing. Do something different. And also, change one thing every month. We want to go slow here, so change one thing every month. If you're at the ATM machine 10 times a week, that's not good. So what you want to do is maybe whittle that down to 5 times a week until you get it down to 1 time a week, or whatever your needs are. But try to change one thing each and every month. How did your parents handle money? That's important, because think back in terms of your history, because again, we're learning from our history so that we can do better. Were your parents constantly looking at the bills, not having enough to pay everything? Or were they extremely frugal so that you all never had any fun in your household? You never did anything. Everything was just pretty cheap. That impacts you as well. It guides your thinking in terms of how you are in the future. So the more you understand your history, the more that you can make the changes that will make you happier. You also need to watch your self-talk. We are so hard on ourselves. We'll say things to ourselves that you wouldn't say to another person. And you certainly wouldn't let some other person come to you and say those things. So be more positive. Say encouraging things. Give yourself affirmations. Maybe you struggled right now, but think of something that you did that was really good and positive. And think about that and just keep moving forward. That's the big thing. Keep moving forward. Now, the purpose of money, which is also the title, that's not complicated. People try to make it complicated, but it really isn't. It should provide comfort and security for you. A roof over your head, food to eat, clothes on your back. That's the main purpose of money. Everything else is just extras. It should not be a way to keep up with the Jones, your neighbors. Your neighbor next door got this big, new, expensive car, and you're thinking, oh, I want that too. Do you really? Or do you want it because they have it? Money should be an enabler to help you sleep at night. It should give you peace of mind. What I'm saying is that if you have a little money in the bank and an emergency comes up, you know you can cover it because that gives you comfort. It should not make you feel bad about yourself or your lifestyle. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people saying, oh, they're living this good life and I want that too. Again, go back to define what is a good life for you. Don't feel bad about the way you're living. If you're comfortable, if you're secure, all your needs are being met, that's your purpose for money. It should be there when you need it for those emergencies, but it should be there when you don't need it. Again, that gives you that ability to sleep sound at night because you know that you have something there to cover those things. Now, financial knowledge, I can't stress this enough because understanding basic financial literacy can give you peace of mind as well. If you have a fear about talking about money, then you're not alone because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, think about it. They dread it. So I'm here to tell you, knowledge is power. Read a book. There are thousands of them out there. Use a library. It's free. I'm in there all the time because I take advantage of the things that are free. I'm a frugal girl. I'm not excessive with it, but I'm a frugal girl. Check out the free podcasts about money. There are lots of them out there, and because they're free, you can take the information that you want, you can use it. The things that don't apply to you, that's okay, because again, it's free. Also, download free apps to track your money. I love Mint.com. Everything on one page. In the morning, I can take a look at it and see what money's doing for me, what it's not doing for me, what bills are due. It gives you all these reminders, and so it helps you to do better in terms of tracking. You also need to look at what successful people are doing and try to do what they do. Now, I don't mean going out and buying all these extravagant things that you may or may not want because you think that makes you successful. Everyone's measure of success is different. So think about that. Years ago, there was a book written called The Millionaire Next Door. The authors for that were Thomas Stanley and William Danko. They chronicled the lives of millionaires, their habits, what they did to make their money. And one of the facts that came out from that is that these millionaires live in middle class and blue collar neighborhoods. A millionaire could be living next door to you and you wouldn't know it because they're not flaunting their wealth, but they understand the purpose of money to provide that comfort and that security. Very few of them live in affluent neighborhoods. Start a money journal. Write down your goals, your thoughts, and even your mistakes because you want to learn from that. It's amazing sometimes the little things that you forget about, and I know my memory is short, and so I write down lots of things because I want to be able to refer back to them. You also want to ask lots of questions. There are no stupid questions, so ask. If someone has some knowledge and you want that knowledge, don't be afraid to ask that question. They'll encourage it. They'll want you to do that because hopefully people mentor other people around money issues. Think of money as a tool. You certainly wouldn't use a tool without reading the instruction manual first, hopefully. So that's why I want you to get more knowledgeable and read more books. Now, the term the love of money frightens people sometimes. It makes them nervous. Well, let's change that thinking. The term is from the Bible, and it actually says, for the love of all money is a root of all kinds of evil. It just means don't lust after money. It provides for your needs and your wants. It makes you work hard to get it to provide for yourself and your family so you could have that comfort and security. And having it allows for you to help other people who are in need. When you have enough money to meet your needs and it's sufficient, it opens your heart up to be able to give to people who have less. The love of money gave me a new mantra. I repeat once a week that I have more than I need. The more I say it, the more I believe it. Sometimes I have to do it twice a week, but you get the point. You can love what money can do for you and still not idolize it. You also want to take the mystery out of money. I ask people all the time, what's their earliest money memory? When did they learn how to handle money? Everyone uses money in some form to buy goods and services. And money has been here forever, whether people were bartering for goods and services when the first coins were invented. So people need money to get around. But they make a mystery out of it by not learning about it. They don't teach it in the schools, yet everyone uses it. Think back when you were in school. Think about the curriculum. Did they have courses on how to handle money? Did they teach you how to use a credit card? How to open up a checking account? The answer is probably no, at least in the US. They just don't do it. And there's a method to the madness, I'm sure, in terms of the less people know about it, the more that the big businesses and banks and stuff can take advantage of you. So you want to take that mystery out of it for yourself so that you can do better. Money divides us too. There are terms to describe it, such as the haves and the have-nots. Well, the more you know about money and what its purpose is, then the less those terms will mean anything to you, because you won't be a have-not, because knowledge is power and it's also a have. Everyone should be talking about money, especially in your homes. Talk with your children about it, because that's where they learn that information. Talk to your friends. Don't make it such a mystery. I promise you, if you share with a good friend that you have debt, they'll probably share with you too that they have debt as well. You won't feel so alone, and maybe you can even work together in terms of how you can figure things out. Money should not be a taboo subject. It is not your enemy, but the lack of knowledge about money certainly is. And don't be afraid of investing. There are some groups that tend to not invest in the stock market. I say some and not all, because enough numbers of people who don't invest just causes me a lot of worry. Minorities do not bank, buy insurance, or invest in stocks in the same way as white Americans. Only 57% of middle-class African Americans have money invested in the stock market, as opposed to 81% of whites. About 58% of Hispanic households had savings or checking accounts, compared to 71% of blacks and 93% of white households. Those gaps are huge, and we can certainly do something about that. So in terms of investing, if you are on a job that has a 401k or a 403b, then contribute. There's something called compound interest that works in your favor when you contribute. You put some money in, your company puts some money in, they invested in some stocks, and it grows. The longer you have it in there, the more you put in, the bigger that will be when you leave that company. If you don't have these vehicles at work, then open up a Roth IRA at a brokerage company. With a Roth IRA, you can start it with as little as $25 in most cases. Roth IRA just means that it's an individual retirement account, but the Roth was an act from Congress just said that you could put this money in for your retirement with after-tax dollars. If you keep that money in that account for at least 5 years, everything that you invest, all the money that you gain from that, is yours tax-free when you take it out. That's a win-win. You should have a Roth IRA even if you have a 401k at your job as well. You also need to read books on how to start investing for beginners. You can start slowly. Again, open up that Roth, put a few dollars in there, and when you get to a certain amount and you could buy a share of stock, then do it. There used to be a saying when folks would go out and buy the latest Nike shoes that cost $100. Well, instead of buying those shoes, why not buy a share of Nike stock? It's a better investment for you. It certainly lasts longer than those shoes would ever do. Now, I mentioned tracking your money, and I say why track it? Because you should know what your money is doing. You should know where it's going every month. Your money might be taking those exotic vacations that you know nothing about. You're paying interest where you don't need to. You're buying warranties that you don't need. So track your money and see what it's doing. You could check 2 months of a bank statement to get an idea of what's going on. Find your blind spots. If you don't have a checking account, Then we mentioned the money journal earlier. Use that money journal and track everything that you spend for an entire month. I'm telling you, it will be amazing to you in terms of how much that means. So do that. Now, I put here food can be off the charts because that's my weakness. I go in the grocery store and I pretty much lose my mind. So I started tracking to see what I was doing, and I thought, this is ridiculous. I was buying food that I wasn't eating. I was throwing things out. So once I started tracking, I did so much better. I'm really proud of the results I have from that. So track your money. If you want that good life, then identifying how you spend your money can help you prioritize and make better decisions. Now, these are my beliefs, and my beliefs are my opinions, so you can certainly use these if you want. You can add to them, that would be great, or you could do nothing with them, that's okay too. But I do want to share this little bit of wisdom with you. So my first belief, people who don't have money will try to spend your money, so be careful. And what I mean by that is that people will tell you you should buy this kind of car, or you should live in this kind of house, or you should have these kind of clothes. They're spending your money. What are they doing with their money? Don't let people tell you how to spend your money. Just be careful. Don't share your money goals with everyone. As in life, everyone will not be happy for you. Sometimes people have their own insecurities, and when you share a goal with them, they'll let those insecurities try to influence you because they're afraid. So be careful. Share your money goals with someone who you know you can trust, who will be supportive, who will mentor you. Term life insurance is much more affordable than whole life, or whatever fancy name they're giving it these days. There's always a new name for some new insurance product. But insurance is for income replacement for your family. It's not an investment vehicle. If you should die, you want to be able to give them as much money as possible for your family to carry on. And term life insurance will do that. Stop leasing cars. You never quit paying because when the lease is up, you have to lease another car. Buy a car, pay it off in a few years, and drive it till it drops. I had a car at one point that I drove for 16 years. The only reason I gave it up is because it caught on fire. But that's another story. Do what works for you and your family in regards to money. Everyone's household is different. You know what you need to survive in your household. So make sure that you make plans that help and impact your family's wants and needs because you're looking at that comfort and security for your family. A savings account is better than nothing. It kind of gets you in the mood. So if you don't have anything started at all, then a savings account is a good place to start. $5, $10 doesn't matter because that's 5 or 10 that you didn't have before, and that's helping you grow towards that safety and security and comfort that you need. And my last goal, or my last belief, is a goal without a plan is just a wish. So for example, if you want to lose that 20 pounds, but you haven't thought about how you're going to do it, it's probably never going to happen. So this is all that I have for you today. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. I hope you were able to get something out of this. I welcome your comments and your feedback. If there's something that you would like to hear on a particular topic that you'd like for me to share, I'd be happy to do that. I'd like to do the research and get that out there for you because my goal is to enhance your lives and make sure that you have the things that you need to be successful. Thank you.